Hi friends, Git is a powerful version control tool. Sometimes I think our evolution genetics are like nature's git commit history. However, there's one key difference. For evolution history, it's not easy to undo stuff. Mistakes you made are hard to revert, but in Git, you can always undo stuff. Today, let's figure out how. So here's our agenda today. We'll first talk about the fundamentals, start by the workflow, and then we'll talk about the three trees, different directories of how Git structure your codebase. And next we'll talk about the lifecycle of your files, different status, modified, unmodified, staging, and lastly we'll talk about how-tos. When we talk about how-to, we'll start by introducing some undo commands, and then we'll focus on how to unstage and how to undo commits. So let's start with the Git workflow. There are essentially three stages. First of all, the working directory is your codebase. When you make a change, you run git add, and that puts your file in the staging area. When you decide your change is good enough, you will commit, and that puts your file to the .git directory, which records the snapshot of your whole codebase. And that actually all starts the cycle of when you git check out one of the commit, you actually effectively change your working directory. So essentially, the main Git workflow is three commands. One is git add, the other is git commit, and then git checkout. Here we introduce the concept of the three trees. By three trees, we don't mean the data structure trees. Rather, we mean the three collection of files. We have working directory, where it stores your local changes. We have index. Basically, in Git, index means your staging area. And lastly, we have head. Head means last commit and the next parent. Essentially, you can think about this. When you modify a file, what changes is the working directory. But when you run git add and add it to the staging area, what changes? It will change the index directory. And after you commit, the head will be changed. So both index and head directory, they are stored in .git directory. So here we talk about for status of a file. With the command git add, you can set the destination status of your file to be staged. And then the file has other three status, untracked, unmodified, and modified. So from unmodified to modified, you make changes to your file in the working directory. And from staged to unmodified, you need to commit your changes. From unmodified to untracked, you actually need to git remove the file. Regardless of the status of the file, as long as you run git add, it can move it to the staged status. Let's talk about how to undo stuff in Git. We start with some commands first. Here are the main commands. Git restore can be used to move the file status from staged to modified. It also can move the file status from modified to unmodified, depending on if you add staged option. We also have git reset. Git reset is a very powerful command. It can not only rewrite history, but it can also unstage and point the head to an old commit. Lastly, we have git revert. Git revert is a relatively new command as well. It is able to revert a commit by creating a new commit. Let's start by talking about how to unstage a file. Right now, as you can see, main.py is in the staging area. What you can do is that follow the comments by Git. You do git restore and main.py. Let's try that. Right now, main.py is no longer in the staging area. But what if you want to also abandon the change? Things you can do is to use git restore without using -- staged. So basically, what you are doing is that you can remove the staged option. Let's look at what will happen. See, your modification also is gone. So this is how you use git restore. So we just add main.py into the staging area again. And we can look at another approach to do this, which is to use git reset. you can git reset head and then look at what happened. So you can see here is that min.py becomes unstaged. So git reset can achieve the same results as git restore. In fact, git reset is even more powerful. If you git reset hard, if you abandon the local modification, so here, as you can see, all the changes are gone. It's similarly as git restore. But git reset can do these two things in one step. So let's do the change again. As you can see, min.py is in the staging area again, and we run git reset hard to see what happened. So as you can see right now, git reset hard is able to actually move the changes in working directory too. Remember, in git restore, you are doing this in two-step process, but git reset hard can do it in one go. That's how powerful git reset is. A common situation is that you forgot to commit something else when you did the last commit. How can you amend your last commit? So let's start by creating the situation. For example, we add touch test.log, and then we do git add commit. Okay, and then we look at the log again. So you can see here, this is our newest commit. Git add test.log. This is a commit start from 5CAD. Okay. But what if, say, we are adding something else? For example, catch test.log. What if they want to add this to the last commit? What can you do without adding to the commit history? So what you can do is that git add test.log and then git commit amend. See here, it's saying that you are adding this file silently. You're gonna add an additional commit. Let's look at the log again. The commit hash changed, but as you can see, the number of commit didn't change. So that's how you do git commit amend. Another situation is that you just did some commit, but you want to undo the commit. What you can do is to use git revert. So for example here, if we want to revert this change, what we can do is that just run git revert. If you just revert whatever change you made on this, delete these two log file. Let's do it. And then see ls. As you can see, these log files got deleted. So let's take a look at the git log again. So basically, the revert command creates a new commit that revert the old commit. Another thing with git revert is that you can actually revert two things in one go. For example, we can revert these two commits in one go. Let's take a look. 1, 2. See, it start to revert. Okay, let's look at the log. We actually create two commits, each one revert one of the old commit. So that's it. In order to revert old commit, you can use git revert. In order to amend last commit, you can use git commit amend. That's it. Thank you for watching.